Hello, hello. There we go. Hey, everyone. My name is Josh, and today I'm super excited to talk about why I believe design is the difference. We will explore together why I believe creativity, not automation, is the key competitive edge in the age of AI. I'm currently a principal product designer in the health team at Microsoft AI. I'm also the founder of Fluban, an app studio in London that launched its first product last year, Orbit, helping people to save money by tracking personal subscriptions. This talk is going to be made up of 3 chapters. I'm going to challenge you on how you're using AI today, and then share tips to increase your creativity and augment it with AI. And finally, convince you that you're an artist. Let's begin with chapter 1, the pencil. I wanted to start off with my favorite quote, difference for the sake of it, in everything, because it must be better. We have seen an explosion in AI coding productivity. People are building and shipping more than ever before. However, today, I believe we are offloading too much of our thinking onto AI. We forget that it's just a tool, like a pencil, a magic pencil. The problem is that AI is trained on everything that already exists. When you ask it to design your website, it returns the weighted average, the most common patterns for the most common sites. Speed of execution is driving the quality of everything to average out, to be good enough. The gap between generated and crafted becomes the only gap that matters. My question to you is good enough how much your customers mean to you? I believe AI should augment our creative abilities, but not replace them. Last year, I augmented my creative abilities by bootstrapping my app in a saturated market with thousands of products doing the exact same thing. Orbit helps you to track personal subscriptions, which is nothing revolutionary. However, within a year, it had gone to 6 figures and was featured by Apple 3 times. As a designer, I had craft and care as my competitive advantage. I embraced building with AI as a tool to assist my creative demands and evolve something to a high bar. I wanted to make a product that does exactly one thing well, for a specific niche of people. AI was my magic pencil, but I was the one in control. The lesson is that tools will always change. The demand for insanely great, well-made things won't. Tools will constantly evolve to solve problems in novel ways. AI has raised the floor, but it hasn't raised the ceiling. We need to decide what to build, why, who for, and then obsess over every detail to make it great. Let's turn to chapter 2, the poster, and talk about how to increase our creativity and then augment it with AI. Your best work is done when you're not working, when you have the space for creative ideas to emerge. On a summer's day, I was relaxing in my apartment, and I saw an interesting interface opportunity on the wall. I love this poster. It's a mid-century modern abstract art in the style of Matisse's paper cutouts. It's brutally simple. You can count all of the visual elements that make it up on one hand. The fun part of this is that Orbit wasn't inspired by other apps. It was inspired by this poster. I saw this as an opportunity to highlight information in Orbit to help people save money. By being insanely simple, you'll not only distinguish yourself away from other apps, you'll make it easy for people to understand. Being different gives you a clear advantage to your competitors. It makes you stand out in a sea of generated sameness. This isn't something you can just prompt once, as there's not enough training on it. A problem is that we're never bored. We need to use creative thinking tool calls, like walking with no headphones, or staring out of the window like I used to do as a bored 90s child with no phone. Essentially, opening up the chance to give our brains fresh patterns of information. I believe that creativity is for everyone, not just designers. Great ideas start with curiosity and a sense of wonder. Today, we need more people than ever to take their ideas, daydreams, obsessions, fleeting thoughts, or unique perspectives and turn them into something real. Now, moving on to something more practical. In my design process today, I like to build my own prototyping tools for almost every project. In this example, I actually created a bespoke new shader tool to help me with the intro slide of this presentation. It allowed me to explore, tweak, perfect, and augment my creative abilities to a level not possible before. Building your own tools, especially during prototyping, is a great way to explore rich behaviors in the experience. This is a hypothetical demo of a debug panel similar to the ones that I regularly use at work. I like adding buttons, toggles, sliders, like this data richness control to simulate different product states from an empty experience on day one to a fully populated experience weeks later. You can jump between screens, reset states, and connect feature flags to quickly test ideas and edge cases. What this really unlocks is the ability to care deeply about the craft of the product. AI has made simulation and iteration dramatically faster, giving us more energy to stay creative and in flow. In a more personal example, I have an open claw that I like to call FluBot. On the left, I'm voice dictating whilst I'm walking in the sunshine, letting my mind roam free about this book that I'm writing on creativity. Here I'm using AI as an assistant to help me organize my book research and then push it to a Git repo. Another cool example of using my personal agent is bringing my quick ideas to life and generating fast prototypes. Most of my ideas get added to Apple Notes and then end up dying in the ideas graveyard. But this is quite a nice way to try them out and see if something's there. This example is a terrible looking prototype, but it's a gift for creative momentum. I wanted to see whether it was possible to track real creative battery as a percentage. I'll usually describe my idea to FluBot in precise detail, maybe throwing in some native iOS specifics like utilizing the screen time API, and then I'll go home to my laptop later with a PR waiting for me and build it onto my phone from Xcode. For this talk, I even asked Claude to create a way for me to navigate my book material from Git, so I could build on ideas and themes around AI and design. I even asked it to create a spatial view. I wanted a way to stumble across information in fun ways that might help me to see patterns I wouldn't have seen reading it linearly. The overall lesson is, by taking lateral inspiration and building personal tools around your work, you can unlock unlimited creativity by utilizing AI as a tool to augment your thinking, but not do it for you. And this brings us to our final act. It's time to convince you that you're an artist. I love this quote from the founder of Doist. The best products are made by people who put a piece of themselves into the work. The worst products feel soulless. AI has made it super easy to create soulless things at scale, but it doesn't have to be this way. One of the biggest mistakes I see in AI today is people never iterating from the first prompt. The first version of anything is never great, but the iterated version can be. I made this app icon in just over an hour, sat in a cafe in London, drinking some good coffee. The difference is between good and great is not being attached to version 1, but being excited about what version 10 could be. The second biggest problem I see when building with AI today is how easy it is for people to keep adding new things and bloating products with unnecessary features. Here's a funny example of what I thought an early wireframe for Orbit's subscription detail page could look like. Great products are tailored for a small amount of people, and real simplicity is extremely difficult. It requires removing everything that is clutter or unnecessary until you're left with the essence of what's important for that niche. My colleague and friend Amir articulates this perfectly, that it's now about the craft. For years, software engineering was mostly about learning frameworks and writing code. Most of our time went into how to build, not what to build. That has flipped. You can now spend months with a big team building the wrong thing, and no amount of AGI will save you. To craft things to exceptional standards, we must iterate, subtract, care, and raise the bar. We must ignore our titles, the things that put us into a box and give us a label. We must think of ourselves as artists so that we can see beyond the status quo, ignore it, and then build something worth making. So, I'll leave you with this. AI is a magic pencil. It's time to follow your curiosity and pour yourself into a piece of art. What will you imagine Singapore? Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. That was fantastic. All right, everyone. So this morning, we've spent a lot of time speaking about personal agents. Up next, we're